Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. I'm Mick Cornett. Great to have you with us here this morning. You know, we have, from time to time, have guests in that come back and continue to astonish us with not only good information, but fascinating information about our local economy and the oil and gas industry, and Tom Price is just that guy.
Well, he is, and he's back for his fifth visit with us. We're going to find out what he's been doing since his last visit.
Yeah, I noticed that was the name of your show. He was very creative today.
Yeah, what's Tom Price been up to is the name of this. There are a lot of people asking that question, but we're going to find out today.
All right, Tom Price, today's guest on The Verdict. We'll be right back.
It's time, America. Our energy future can be ours again with American natural gas. We have an abundant, affordable supply, unrivaled anywhere. $1 billion a day for importing foreign oil isn't just a statistic, it's an opportunity. 30% lower greenhouse emissions isn't a pipe dream, it's a choice. Now is the time. Chesapeake, America's champion of natural gas.
Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate. We're accountants. We do taxes, business valuations, estate planning, and consulting. And we're right here in Oklahoma, working with the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. Steve Wilsey and Stuart Meyer have the resources and the experience. Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate in Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Good look at the test, man.
Honey, I know. It's awesome. What's wrong?
A heart attack could shatter everything. A simple heart scan could save it. Schedule your $50 heart scan today at St. Anthony, the most trusted experts in cardiovascular care.
Hello there and welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, and Kent's going to introduce today's guest.
Today, back for his fifth appearance on The Verdict, is a good friend, Tom Price. Tom is a Senior Vice President of Corporate Development for Chesapeake Energy. He did his undergraduate work at University of Central Oklahoma, where he graduated with honors. He has two master's degrees, one MBA and one in International Management. He's been with Chesapeake formally since 1992, but 3 years prior to that, he served as a consultant for Chesapeake, so he's been there for a while. He's involved in many community activities where he takes leadership roles. He's involved in many industry activities where he likewise takes leadership roles, and he's always into interesting things, and that's why we invited him to come on today and just let's find out. It's been a while since he's been on. Let's find out what he's doing. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
Glad
always
to have
a pleasure
you.
to be here with you guys.
A couple of main themes we want to get on this show. First of all, the oil and gas industry in general, but secondly, Chesapeake specifically. So let's start with Chesapeake. How is the company doing, and kind of give the Oklahoma City and Tulsa-based audience an idea of the scope of Chesapeake's empire?
Well, it has grown dramatically from 1989 when we first started the company with 10 people and the top floor of a 6,000 square foot building.
And you were one of the 10.
We're one of the 10. And we now have 12,000 employees nationwide. We've got about 6,400 that are employed by the company here in Oklahoma, and 4,600 that are officed in Oklahoma City. And gosh, we've gone from that one building that we owned, that we occupied the top floor of, to now 17 buildings that we've got on the immediate campus, which is about about 1.8 million square feet. Then we've got another 17 buildings that are in the mid-north Oklahoma City area that takes us up to about 3 million square feet. So it's a vibrant place. There's a lot of exciting people. We've got 50% of our employees are under 34 years old. The average age at the company is 37. And when you have people like me, as old as I am there, it gives you a sense for how many young people that we've got there. It's a lot of fun.
Well, from what I understand, taking a look from afar at Chesapeake, your turnover rate is unbelievably low in comparison to others in the same industry.
It really is, and I think part of it is because we've got a culture that really gives people an opportunity to mentor with some great people. It really treats them with great respect and gives them opportunity to perform early. We've got a health facility. We've got a child care facility that's just recently opened up. We have room for 300 children. This is kids from 6 months to 5 years. So it's just an exciting place, and if you want to have the best people, you really have to provide the best working environment, and so we really try to do that.
And how do you rank as far as Oklahoma employers? Do you have any idea?
In terms, we are number one in terms of Oklahoma employers of the Fortune 100.
There might be a retailer like Walmart might technically be larger. Is that what you're getting at?
You mean in terms of size?
Yeah.
I thought you meant in terms of best places to work. Yes, it depends on whether you use total revenues, total assets, and that type of thing. But we would be among the top 2 or 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we didn't talk about
Okay.
just then, about one of the best places to work. What are the criteria that the raters look at to evaluate companies and how Chesapeake came out number one?
Right. Well, they look at a lot of different things, but most of it is feedback from the people that actually work at the company. How do you feel about the company and the environment that you work in? Certainly, there are also those, like I talked about, in terms of child care, health care, compensation, all of the more kind of hard and fast kind of objective criteria. But what they really look at too is what's the attitude of the people that work at the company, and when they talk to them, how do they feel? What do they express about their appreciation for the company and their excitement about being a part of the environment that we've created?
You know, people hear a lot about the campus and its growth. Is it landlocked at this point, or is it continuing to expand?
Well, we are not landlocked. I mean, what you want to do, obviously, is have all of the buildings that are immediately contiguous. That's not possible, but we've bought a few different buildings over on Lincoln when Energex moved out of a building there at right off the curve at 44 in Lincoln. And we've got some other buildings. There's one over at the Quail Parkway and 63rd. So they're spread out a little bit, but we've got enough employees now that they are occupying the entire buildings, and so it's exciting. We've got people that in virtually every area have a place to work out, have a place that they can really call their own. So I think that's the thing that's the most exciting, and we try as best we can to have buildings in various parts of the country that look alike. So there's some consistency to the architecture.
Well, why don't we take a picture that shows a little bit of the construction that's going on? I think you'll be able to see the cranes and the Georgian-style architecture that's now famous on the campus. You may have to use your imagination on the Georgian-style architecture now that I think about it. But a lot of dirt flying, and this didn't just start last week. You guys have been constructing nonstop for as long as I can remember.
We've got some really good friends at Smith and Pickle Construction and Rand Elliott Architect, and they've done an incredible job for us. And like in any great city, if you see a lot of cranes, you see prosperity, you see growth, you see opportunity. And so You know, when we look and talk about the number of people that we employ directly at 12,000, with 175 active rigs that we've got across the country, which employ somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 people per rig. You've got another 17,500 people who are engaged in the activity that we are inspiring. So, you know, when I look at cranes or when I look at rigs, I think of putting people to work and high-paying jobs. And frankly, most of the people that are there on our campus, I think have been there working for so long that they really feel that they're a part of Chesapeake as well.
We have one more picture I want to get to, and that is the finish line tower on the Oklahoma River. And this is through the philanthropy that Chesapeake and its leader, Aubrey McClendon, are famous for. And this is actually at the finish line where the rowing takes place on the river. And those are areas for the officials to stand, for supporters of the races, for team members to stand. But it's a place to view that is just unlike any other facility in the world.
It really is. I think that we are extraordinarily proud to be a part of that. I know you have been there for both the opening of the finish line and the Chesapeake Boathouse. As a matter of fact, one of the best pictures that I think I've ever seen is the one of you and Aubrey and Clay and Rand all popping the cork to celebrate the opening. And you know, I mean, you've been a part of some great things with us too, and it's just a pleasure to be to have the opportunity to be a leader in Oklahoma City at a time that is really separating us from an awful lot of cities of comparable size.
Okay, we're going to take a break and get back. Our next segment, Tom Price is a leader himself on talking about the benefits of natural gas on a national basis. And of course, Chesapeake has been front and center in sometimes the debate and certainly the promotion of this wonderful source of energy that drives our economy. We'll get to that coming up on The Verdict.
Now then, Nick.
The thing that has made the most sense for me is realizing that I am still an educator, and that is what I do at the Chickasaw Nation. I'm Dr. Amanda Cobb-Greetham. I'm a historian, and I'm Chickasaw. The Chickasaw Cultural Center is amazing. It is a very, very special place devoted to the sharing and to the celebration of Chickasaw history and culture. State-of-the-art technology, exhibits that are not like anything I've ever seen. The Spirit Forest is incredible, and you feel as if you have actually just walked into a forest with huge trees all around you. It's timeless, and yet it's sort of also representative of our time depth, to really just sort of reach through time and touch the past. By the end of the exhibits, you really have a sense of Chickasaw cultural and political resurgence and the extent to which we are a healthy, dynamic, and vital tribe today. Chickasaws have always been an inclusive people. This is something for the whole community and for the state of Oklahoma.
In 25 years, world energy demand will grow by 44%, with oil and natural gas largely meeting the need.
The question is, will America's demand be met by American resources?
Oklahoma says yes. We're developing the largest oil and natural gas discoveries America has seen in 40 years.
It's creating jobs and millions in tax revenue for schools, roads, and hospitals.
Oklahoma's oil and natural gas industry, advancing our state, empowering our nation.
When you have something important to communicate, it becomes clear that there's a lot of competition for your audience's attention. So how can your message stand out and actually resonate with your audience? Legal Graphics has the answers. The team at Legal Graphics will work with you to plan, design, and even test your presentation to ensure your message will be heard and remembered. Call Legal Graphics today to schedule an appointment. The readiness is all.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. We're visiting with Tom Price with Chesapeake Energy. We talk a lot about natural gas when we talk about Chesapeake, but
It's not just natural gas when you talk about Chesapeake anymore. The price of oil is something that you guys are very interested in as well.
It really is. I mean, what has happened over the last really 5 years is that we have been so extraordinarily successful, ourselves and others, in terms of finding natural gas in places that no one ever suspected that it would be found. And that is in very, very tight shale plays, formations basically that are so tight that the oil and natural gas could not escape before. Basically through new technology and technology that continues to improve, hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling. And when I say new, it's important to indicate that the first hydraulic fracturing job that was done in 1949. But we continue to improve on this process, and over the last 5 years, as we have used it to liberate the natural gas from these shale formations, we have found so much more of this than anyone ever expected, that even in a recessionary environment like we've got today, you've got natural gas prices that are down below $4 an MCF. So we've said, gosh, do we continue to just drill for natural gas, or do we look for areas that have oil or natural gas liquids? And we have found recently that there have been a number of places around the state of Oklahoma and around the United States where there are enormous areas that house tremendous amounts of oil and natural gas liquids. So it's really exciting. You get paid significantly more on a BTU equivalent basis. Oil selling right at about $80 a barrel, and that would equate to the same as natural gas selling at about on a BTU equivalent basis of about $15 an MCF. So there's a lot of incentive to be looking for oil and natural gas liquids.
And you basically use the same equipment. You
really
approach it differently a little bit, but why not?
Well, different areas, just different areas of the country, frankly.
Well, explain horizontal drilling to those who might not be aware of it. It's fairly new on the scene.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's been done for the 20 years that Chesapeake has been around, because we first started drilling high-angle wells, that is, drilling wells and taking them at less than a 90-degree angle. But basically, it's taking the bit down to a particular point and then turning it sideways with tools that allow you to drill perpendicular to the hole itself, to the wellbore. And of course, the benefit of that is the amount of the geologic formation that you intersect is significantly greater. So productivity rates are significantly higher, and it really has reduced substantially the overall finding costs and the cost to drill these wells.
Talk to us about the geographic scope of Chesapeake operations. I mean, how many states are you in? And tick off as many of them as you can.
Yeah, sure.
And just tell our viewers, where are you?
Okay, well, we first started in 1989 exclusively here in Oklahoma. We got involved in Texas. We got involved then in Louisiana. Have been involved over the last few years in Arkansas, in New Mexico, in Colorado, in Wyoming. We're up in North Dakota now. We're also in the east, in Ohio, in West Virginia, in Pennsylvania. And we've been kind of playing around with the politicians and the some environmental groups to allow us to drill in New York as well. But we're in about 15 or 16 different states.
Is more expansion contemplated?
It really depends upon where we find opportunities. And there are oil and gas producing areas in about 35 different states in the country right now. And really the benefit of it is not only that are we able to find it in a much broader geographic area, but the people that we can put to work are in a lot of different areas. The Rust Belt, for example, in Ohio and Pennsylvania, areas that really we've seen a tremendous exodus of manufacturing. We think that we're going to be in a position to rejuvenate those economies.
This may be self-evident, but I think it's significant that when you do go into a place like Ohio or Pennsylvania, the jobs you're offering are really relatively high-paying jobs compared to what is otherwise available there.
Well, I mean, yeah, not just relatively high-paying, but extraordinarily high-paying. In fact, within the first year working with us, people have the opportunity in the field to make $75,000 to $85,000. There are companies that work for us, Halliburton and Schlumberger, that once one goes through a training period, they can make $100,000 a year. So I mean, these are jobs that I think an awful lot of people can be proud of.
An unemployed factory worker could be retrained and put to work and change that life in that family.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the exciting thing about it, is that these are jobs that don't even require a college degree. They require hard work, and they require working outside in sometimes inclement weather. But if one is willing to work hard, there's certainly opportunity out there for them.
What's the political environment now for your industry, oil and natural gas?
Well, it depends on whether you're talking about in a particular state or at the federal level. At the federal level, still not quite as good as we would hope, especially given that, frankly, we think that we are the key to an economic resurgence in this country that could put millions of people to work. In fact, we're working with U.S. Steel, we're working with Dow Chemical, we're working with industrial, with significant industrial companies, DuPont and others, around the country to try to provide them with an alternative to what they have been using in the past, which is naphtha, which is an oil-based product, in lieu of ethane, which is stripped out of these natural gas liquids. It's an opportunity to bring literally hundreds of thousands of jobs back onshore into the U.S. And then, of course, we're looking at natural gas vehicles. And basically, people in the United States spend about $1 million a minute on imported oil. I mean, the amount is incredible. So if people can save $1.50 to $2 a gallon equivalent, I mean, there's tremendous opportunities for cost savings in the U.S. economy right now, and we think that we're at the forefront of it.
And we need to move in a domestic direction.
We really do.
No question about that. Tom Price is our guest. Our time went quickly. There's a lot of subjects we'd love to have visited with you, but we'll have you back on again.
Always a pleasure.
All right.
We'll
Tom
stay
Price.
on your trail.
There we go. Thanks.
Kent and I'll have a final word when we get back.
Thank you, guys.
The good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information. And for almost 30 years, Oklahoma political, government, and business leaders have turned to the McCarville Report for accurate, reliable, inside information. Visit the McCarville Report online.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett and Kent Myers. We're wrapping up the show with Tom Price of Chesapeake Energy. Tom does such a good job of not only talking about his company, but talking about the benefits of the industry and how they have positive effects on the country as a whole.
There's just hardly anybody you can have on that would know more about that than Tom. He is very active, very interested, obviously very bright, and we sure appreciate his time.
Well, our state has done a lot to diversify its economy, both in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa. But at the end of the day, that energy sector is still very, very strong, and it's hard to imagine our two economies without it.
And the flexibility of somebody like Chesapeake to see that, okay, the price of oil is kind of out of kilter with the price of gas, we need to change what we're doing. And they did, and they're being even more successful.
And hopefully, eventually, people on a national scale will see the benefits of a domestic energy source. I mean, I just can't imagine that that's not so evident. That we've got to quit our reliance on foreign energy. It's not in our best interest politically, and it's certainly not in our best interest economically. And it just seems like a no-brainer situation that we've got to start converting our transportation to natural gas and other sources.
Yeah, the industry has found new oil where the powers that be would have told us it didn't exist, and they're getting it out.
Yeah, as Tom well pointed out. Well, we appreciate Tom coming on the show, his fifth visit. And let me send you to some websites that'll give you more information on today's show. First of all, you can get more information about Chesapeake at their website. It's chk.com. That's chk.com. We also have a website. We'd love for you to visit there and tell us about a show or a guest that you'd like to see explored on The Verdict. Our website is theverdict.tv. That's theverdict.tv. You can send us an email with a topic you'd like us to talk about. For Kent Myers, I'm Mick Cornett. We will see you next week right here on The Verdict.
The preceding program was produced exclusively for the Cox Channel.